So the risk reversal revolution. I want to dive into this because I think if you look at the way that the successful people market at the moment on any of the social media platforms, this is playing a massive role. So I'll give you an example. Before Christmas, I clicked on a link that said, or I watched a video. It was scrolling and somebody popped up and said, "Are you a business coach looking for leads?" And I went, "Yes, I am actually." So obviously I then watched that video and I got the feedback from them. But because we'd been talking about it in the weeks before, I was in tune to listening out for that message. But then because I'd clicked on that link over Christmas, literally every other ad on LinkedIn or sorry, on Instagram was, "Are you a business coach looking for leads?" And you're like, okay, so that's a different one. Yeah, I'll do it. So I had about 6 or 7 people to interview at the end of the Christmas holidays to work out who we were going to use. And ultimately, it's about, so we've talked in a previous workshop about really nailing down what our ideal client looks like, but then really understanding the SWOT analysis of that client, their strengths, their weaknesses, their opportunities, their threats. Because when you know the SWOT analysis of your ideal client, it's really easy to call them out. Really easy to say, "Are you a business coach looking for ideal clients?" So are you an ideal client looking for X, Y, and Z? So, and by doing that, you can call it out really easily. But it's really important that you then have something that you make them an offer that they feel like they would be stupid not to accept. You know, one of them said, we will guarantee that you'll get 10 clients sign up, or we'll continue to fill your diary until you do. But why wouldn't I do that? I mean, it's actually funny enough, that's not the company we ended up using. We used a different company. But like, why would you not do that? If you're doing the maths going, well, 10 clients equals this, and you're asking me for that, that's a multiple of 10 more than I'm paying. So why would I not? I'd be stupid not to do that. I'm standing here saying I didn't take them up on that offer, but so maybe I am stupid. I took a different company up on one of those like similar offers. But when we make an offer that people think, well, I'd be stupid not to try that, that's where we get people to take action. Because in the social media world, there's that inherent caution, isn't there? You see somebody, even if you've built up trust with that person, you see them talking on social media, and like, oh, yeah, it's just some other scam or some other nonsense. It doesn't really exist. They're just trying to get my money, or it's going to be a load of rubbish. I won't get any value out of it. Whereas actually, what we want to do is we want to talk about dream outcomes, but we want to talk about how do we reverse the risk for our ideal client. And Alex Hormozy, in his book, $100 Million Offers, God, that's really confusing. So he talks about the value equation. And the value equation is as this. So if you want to generate value and you want to create value, then you need to know what your ideal client's dream outcome is. So I know that for business owners, that is, they want to make more money in their business, they want to work less, and they want to enjoy it more. Now, primarily, it's the first one that gets people's attention. But then they're like, oh, a way to make money whilst not just working more hours, because I'm already at capacity. So making more money whilst working less. And actually, you're right. Yeah, the fun has drained out of my business. I don't enjoy my business as much as I used to and I thought I would. Therefore, if I can have the fun time as well as the profit, happy days. So what is the dream outcome of your ideal client? Second is perceived likelihood of achievement. How likely does my solution, do my ideal client think that my solution is going to achieve that? So if I can stand there and say, well, I've done this, I've grown my business 50% year on year whilst taking 3 months of every year off, then people go, well, okay, did it for himself. So therefore, my perceived likelihood of achievement is much higher because he knows how to do it. He's done it for himself. You can do that with case studies of clients. We've helped, Matt grow his business from 0 to X through the coaching of the trusted team. And so you can use that, again, will boost people's perceived likelihood of achievement. Time delay. How long is it going to take? I can say I can increase your business's profits by 50%, but if it's over 10 years, you're, oh, geez, that doesn't sound like you're working that hard to me. But so what's the time frame? So we've kind of spent a lot of time talking about this. About 12 months is the maximum time frame that you can be talking about in this scenario. Then how much effort are you going to put in? This is a key one. When I'm talking to the people that are coming in off the back of this marketing, they're going, well, okay, how much time have I got to put aside to do this? How much commitment have I got to put in? So when you think about that whole thing, you can start to craft what your offer looks like. And I think there's really 8 different ways that you can reverse the risk. And you'll know this from different businesses, and I'm going to give you some examples of each. But different businesses have different ways to reverse the risk. Because if we're trying to get to the point where a client says, well, I'd be stupid not to take that offer, then there's lots of different ways that we can achieve that in our business. And the first one is a lifetime guarantee. So I don't know if any of you have heard the story, but I'm guessing, how many of you own an Osprey backpack? I know I do. Yeah, okay, so a good few of you own an Osprey backpack. Osprey were founded in 1974. They offer their customers a lifetime guarantee on your backpack. So you could have bought a backpack in 1974. You go, it's served me well. It's been on every expedition I've done in the last 35 years, and yet it has now worn out. And they will repair that backpack for you. Or if it's unrepairable, they'll send you a new one. That is just, it's just like, why wouldn't you? I mean, that's amazing. And they got some amazing PR a while ago from somebody that did buy a backpack from them in the late 70s. And yes, sure enough, like 50 years later, they go, it's a bit knackered now. And they go, okay, fine, fair enough, here's a new one. Amazing PR, amazing PR. The fact that I know about that, it shows how good a PR that is. So a lifetime guarantee is a great way of providing a risk reversal for some businesses. Won't work for other businesses. So free trial is another way that you might find working for your business. Some of you actually here today are doing a free trial of the trusted team, something we don't make available to many people because we need to make sure that the dynamics in the room are really right. But a free trial can work really well if it's about sort of try it and witness how good this product is. And if I don't know, has anyone heard of Warby Parker, the American glasses company? It's an example that gets commonly used in quite a lot of American business books. But they'll send you 5 pairs of glasses to your home, so you can go and perhaps if you wear glasses, you guys maybe have tried these apps that it tries to put the glasses on you. Certainly on Oakley's website, yeah, actually I quite like them, but much better is to be able to try them on and go, yeah, Mrs. Redding, do you like the glasses? Yes. Okay, that's important. So then that's what they'll do. Send you a free trial. If you want them, keep them. If you don't, send them back. A warranty to reassure around quality that you're not convinced by can be a really brilliant risk reversal. So the best example I can give you of that is Tesla. So when Tesla launched the Model S, there was no electric cars on the road pretty much at all, other than that little BMW i3, which did sort of, 60 miles electric or something. So everyone that was thinking about buying a Tesla was going, well, yeah, but what's the battery going to be like? The battery on my iPhone dies gradually over a 2-year period. Is my car going to be the same? Am I going to have to sort of charge up before I get to work? If I buy a Tesla, 8-year guarantee on the battery. Any problems, you get 8-year warranty. Anyone that's buying a new car is unlikely to keep that car for 8 years. So they've warranted themselves out of that worry point. No penalty. So you can say, you can try this, no penalty for stopping whenever you want. Anyone ever found themselves subscribed accidentally to either Naked Wines or Now TV? I think I've unsubscribed to both twice when I've been, the second time on Now TV, I was like, right, I know they're going to catch me out here. I'm not going to do this. 6 months later, why am I paying for Now TV? But actually, and that's not the way to do it, by the way, because that just irritates people. But when there's no penalty, you go, well, okay, I'll try it and I'll just cancel when I want to. You know, we tried Disney Plus. Can I persuade my daughters that we don't need Disney Plus now? No, I can't. But we have Netflix, we have Amazon, we have Apple. Goodness sake, we can't need all of these, can we? But of course, once you've got them, they know that you'll want to keep it. And that actually comes back to the psychological principle, which his name escapes me at the moment. Somebody here will tell me in a minute. Loss aversion. You don't want to lose what you've now got. It's why people are more scared about losing money than they are about getting positive growth. So they know that once you've got something, you'll want to keep it. You'll want to hang on to it. So no penalty is a really nice way of doing it. Satisfaction guarantee is, of course, another one. You need to be completely satisfied, or we'll give you your money back, whatever it is. A good example of this is Casper, who do a 100-night trial on their mattress. So you can buy a Casper mattress, and if up to 100 nights later you go, actually, I'm not enjoying sleeping on this mattress, complete guarantee you can get your money back and go buy another mattress. Price match guarantee. Now, this used to be a thing. Can anyone give me the most famous price match? Exactly. Well done. Thank you. Never knowingly undersold. Never knowingly undersold until the internet came along. And then they were repeatedly undersold, and they had to change the model because they could not match the low-cost internet solutions. There's now, I can't remember I meant to look it up actually. There's now a quirky way of rewording something similar, but actually it's a really nice, some of the bike shops will do this. So if you go in and you go, I want to buy, I know Rutland Cycling used to do it, you go in and go, I want to buy this product from here, but I can find it online here for this price. They'll match that online price because they have an online business themselves that they see is viable. I don't know whether they still do that, but certainly they have done previously. Money back guarantee. So this is a great one for professional services, and I'll explain why in a minute. But a non-financial services example, or professional services example, is Zappos. Now, I've used Zappos a few times as an example for different things. They're renowned for their company culture. They're renowned for having the best customer service of businesses in the US, or at least historically. For those of you who don't know, they're an online shoe retailer. Get this, 365-day return policy. You can have a pair of shoes for 365 days and go, actually, don't like them. I'll send them back. Now, of course, like most online retailers now will have about a 30-day policy, won't they? I think the minimum is 14 days. And if it's not 14 days, it's 30 days. Like, that's a bit tight, isn't it? I've got to make sure I get to the post office with, I'm starting to get stressed about whether I can get there this week or not. And if it's beyond 30 days, as long as you've got to return it in saleable condition, actually, does it really make much? How many returns are you going to get between 30 days and 365? How many people are going to sit on a pair of shoes in a box and go, yeah, actually, change my mind, I won't bother? But the fact that we're talking about it shows that it is a great risk reversal. Zappos have another risk reversal, which I may have mentioned at a previous workshop, but when they take on a new employee, after that employee has been working for them for 3 months, they offer them $2,000 to leave. So they try and pay them to leave, knowing that if anyone takes that $2,000, that was not a great employee for Zappos in the future. It's brave, but it means they end up with an amazing team, amazing customer service. We use this really well in Efficient Portfolio with our financial plan. So given that most financial advisors give all the advice away for free, and then try and sell something at the back end, we were very different to that. We would charge a plan fee to go off and build a proper financial plan. But if somebody's doing window shopping, going, well, I've seen 3 advisors, these 2 are offering to do what you're telling me they're going to do it for free, and you're trying to charge me $2,000 to do it. And I know you're saying you'll do it properly, but why would I do that? Well, we'll show you why you'll do it, and to make sure that you're really comfortable with it, there's 100% money back guarantee. So if you get our plan and you go, actually, that wasn't worth £2,000, no questions asked, we'll give you your money back. I would say on average, we did that for probably 14 years. I'd say on average, I could look up the numbers, but on average, we refunded one plan a year. But how many more people signed up to do that plan to really get the value of our advice because they had the reassurance? Some of those people, they've come in through a seminar or a webinar, or they've read my book or whatever it is. They don't know really the quality of our work. If you've been referred in, they do. But if they've come in from a different source, they don't. So that's the risk reversal. Wow, you're going to do £2,000 worth of work, and if at the end of it, I don't think it was a good idea, you'll just give me your money back. No questions asked. Absolutely. Because let's face it, if we'd written a financial plan for somebody and they'd gone, this is rubbish. This is absolute rubbish. You've made this mistake. You've done that wrong. I'm really disappointed with this. What would be the first thing that we would have done? We'd say, oh, I'm really sorry, we've missed the mark here. Can we refund your money? So if we're going to do that when somebody has a negative experience, why wouldn't we actually make that a selling point? It's so powerful to create that risk reversal. They go, well, when you've built your phenomenal process, which I know some of you have been through, but some of you haven't. Ultimately, the process, once you've got your phenomenal process documented, you know that the only objective of stage 1, let's say, is to get the client to stage 2. The only objective of stage 2 is to get into stage 3. You don't have to worry about getting to stage 7 until stage 6. So if you can reverse the risk and go, okay, why wouldn't I do that? Now, of course, the British are a wonderful breed, and they are very hesitant to complain unless it's really bad. That plays in our favor in this situation. So, even when somebody we've done plans for people that have decided not to take the advice, they've decided, they've gone to a different advisor, still very few ask for their money back because they can appreciate that actually you've delivered them £2,000 or whatever worth of value. Occasionally you get it wrong, make a mistake, it gets delayed for whatever reason, and go, it's not good enough. Absolutely, you should have your money back. Not once did we ever refuse to give money back when somebody asked, because they're never going to make a good client, are they? It's never going to work. So that is a really powerful one in this particular world. Final one is a performance guarantee. So performance is all about, okay, we will deliver you this result, and if we don't, here's our guarantee. This is the one that I think works really well at the moment, and then this is the one that we've actually decided to adopt a few within the trusted team. But if you find us on our if we find me popping up on your Instagram feed, actually I know Steve has seen me pop up. Have you? You have, Neil? Yeah. Excellent. That's good to hear. Thank you. Somebody's doing their job. Okay. So you will already know what our risk reversal guarantee is. So if you come to the trusted team, we will deliver you 50% increase in profit and time off over 12 months, or we'll continue to coach you for free until we do. So we know that if you do what we, ultimately with coaching, we can show you the processes that you need to go through. Only you can do those processes. But if we give you that offer, you're sitting there going, so, we've done we're fairly early on in this marketing process, but we started doing these calls, these coaching calls now. I mean, okay, so you're making 120 grand profit, right? So we're saying that we're going to coach you until you've got an increase of 60 grand in profit. We're going to charge you 7 grand for that privilege. Why would you not do that? And we'll deliver that. Yeah, okay, if we don't do it over 12 months, which is what we know that you can do, because we've done it ourselves. If we can't do that, then we'll carry on coaching you until we get you there. If it takes 18 months, you still only paid 1 year's trusted team fee. So that is a risk reversal guarantee. But another one is for those people that we're marketing to online. Again, they've never met us in person. They've never been to one of these workshops as a taster. And in fact, I won't let them come to a workshop as a taster, because for me, this is about only letting people in that we know. But therefore, we will give them a full refund at the end of the first workshop. If they come to the first workshop in person, and they go, actually, I didn't get enough value from this, I don't want to come to another one, we don't want them here if they don't want to be here. So why wouldn't we just give them a refund and send them on their way and go, fair enough. So that to us was how I've interpreted how we can create a performance guarantee as well as a money back guarantee. But the other thing that this made me do was, that's a big promise. 50% profit and growth in profit and time off over 12 months is a scary promise. And if it doesn't scare you, the promise isn't good enough. But the other thing you've then got to think about is, okay, if that's the promise that my ideal clients want, what do I have to do to be really confident we can get them to achieve that? Because that's the other way of engineering, because that made me look at the trusted team and go, well, okay, the workshops are a really key component of it. The learning lunch is kind of a value add. Definitely we should be getting the members to invite their teams into the learning lunch, because I think that would give them a better chance of delivering this. We've got the mastermind group, which helps give them accountability from the other people and build stronger relationships with the other people in the trusted team. But what else can we do that would make me confident that we could deliver that? And it brought me back to a term called Kaizen. Now, when back in, did I put the year in the 1980s, that was it. In the 1980s, General Motors had a factory in the US that was performing really badly, the worst General Motors factory in the US. And they were actually ready to close this, but they were in conversation with Toyota at the time. And Toyota said, well, what we'll do, why don't we come and take over the management of that particular factory in the US? And that they were trying to create this collaboration between the two, which was called UMI, I think, which stood for NUMI, New United Motor Manufacturing Inc. Really catchy name. So what they said was, we will keep the current employees, but we're going to bring Toyota's approach to this factory, and we're going to see if we can turn this factory around. And the Toyota approach was very much about getting everybody in the business thinking of little improvements, a bit like the David Brailsford stuff that we've talked about with the marginal gains. It's about empowering everyone in the business to find small improvements on a constant flow of them. And as a result, that NUMI plant in the US went from being General Motors' worst performing to one of their best performing through this Kaizen approach. And Kaizen is a Japanese term that basically translates to good change. It's about finding lots and lots of little processes and principles and ideas to change things for the better. And building that constant flow of new ideas, new improvements is really important. Ultimately, it's why you're here. It's why you're here, because it's really important that at least every 2 months you're sitting down and going, right, okay, how can I come up with how can I lift my head above the parapet, step out from being in the business and actually start to think on the business, what can we do differently? And when I ran Efficient Portfolio, we did a meeting every month called the Energy Meeting. The Energy Meeting was a different one. There was 12 different energy meetings, so a different one for every month. And as a team, originally when we were a smaller business, the whole team would sit in an energy meeting. As we got bigger, we would say, well, okay, this one's more marketing related. So anyone that's marketing, sales, or connected to that would be in that particular energy meeting, but not the finance manager, for example. And what all it would entail is sitting down with a series of questions as a team brainstorming that particular part of the business. It was typically a 90-minute meeting every month. 1 month it'd be marketing, next month it'd be front stage, next month it would be how to save some costs, next month it would be what goes on backstage, another one would be the game of gains, which is a tool that we've done before, which is coming back to that marginal gains principle. But it was all about empowering the team to come up with new ideas and new ways of improving what we did. And it had, over time, it had a really transformative effect, not just on the business, because we generated this constant flow of new ideas, but it created this, what I ended up calling an entrepreneurial mindset. So what you're trying to do is have a team where they're seeing their part of what they do for your business as their own business. They're trying to create that innovative mindset that an entrepreneur has when they think about their own business within just a part of that business. And it's really powerful because you then know that everyone is pulling in the same direction. So what I've done is I've basically concluded that if I want to be sure that the members of the trusted team are going to deliver 50% profit and 50% time off growth over the course of 12 months, we need to be delivering a Kaizen meeting or an energy meeting, but energy stood for Energized Never-Ending Growth Initiative. It was a rubbish name that we could never quite get our heads around. So actually, Kaizen summarizes what we're doing. So what we're going to offer you guys and all new members of the trusted team is a monthly meeting where you dial in with your team or some of your team, and most of the work is being done by you. We're just facilitating a brainstorming meeting around a different concept every month of the year to help make sure that you build that entrepreneurial community within your business and help make sure that you've got a constant flow of ideas within your business. So the Kaizen Constant, the dates are all set. We'll share those with the trusted team members after today. But look out for that, because whether that's you and your EA dialing in, whether that's Steve and his whole team dialing in, or whether that's part of it, you can decide who's right to dial in for that. But I really encourage you to do that, because it's another way of us making sure that you do that within your business. In addition to that, what we're going to do is we're also going to send you one tool digitally, the video and the tool, every 2 weeks. Whether you do it or not is up to you. But again, like things like the phenomenal process, we'd have done that before you joined, I think. That's just such an important part of what we do. So essentially, over the course of a 12-month period, not only do you get your workshops, but every 2 weeks, you get the coaching principles that we started the trusted team with, because I felt that they were the foundation to everything. And that'll cycle through every 12 months. So just because you did if you did the phenomenal process 12 months ago, I'm guessing you'd say it's actually still really valuable to go back and redo that and rethink about it. So every 12 months, we'll deliver that digitally. Again, that brings us an opportunity to ensure that you meet those targets. The final thing with these sorts of guarantees is you too need to protect yourself, because you make these, what you don't want to do is go out, sell so much of something, and then it fails to deliver, and everyone comes back for a refund, and you find that you're bust a year from now. So there's some things that you can do to protect yourself before, so pre-qualification and then post. So beforehand, in terms of putting the crash helmet on to make sure that you're protecting your business, you could have a minimum commitment guarantee. So you've got to have committed for 12 months, for example, with us. Client screening, we're only offering that to somebody that is in a professional service-based business that's making over £100,000 worth of profit and has at least one employee, because we know that is ideal client. Industry specific, well, I've just said professional services. You might have a specific industry that you want to focus on. Proof of concept phase, you might ask them to, I know some of the marketing companies that we were asking to work with were like, well, we'll only offer you this guarantee if you're already proving that marketing concept works. If you're trying to sell, ice to Eskimos, there's no point in us offering you this guarantee. Financial stability check, it might be that, you want to check something around their finances. And of course, post, back end of once somebody has been through the process, you might want to protect yourself as well. So for example, I would only offer that guarantee if somebody actually goes away and does the coaching. If somebody comes here, spends 12 months attending the coaching, none of it's worked, and I go, well, okay, show me your phenomenal process, show me your successful business scorecard, and they can't. It's like, well, of course it's not going to work. You've actually got to do the work. It's no good just coming to the workshops and expecting it to suddenly transform. You might ask for progress reports. You might, as part of your process, you might have regular check-ins. You might do a post-training assessment. So what we're going to do is after 12 months, for those people that are saying, or haven't delivered it, we're going to do a coaching call with them, go, well, okay, what's not working? How could we do this? And that will be essentially a way of assessing how they're getting on. and you might insist on some sort of feedback loop. So essentially what that means is we have ended up creating the trusted team, which I'll share with you a bit more later on, but we've ended up with a tier of different solutions, some that are for you and your team, both business growth and personal growth. Some are for just you as the business owner, both personal growth and business growth. So that's the journey so this is our phenomenal process, the trusted team transformation. And we've also, so this is the other thing that Alex Hormozy got me thinking about, was what would I do for 1/10 of my current fee, and what would I do for 10 times my current fee? Because it made me think, okay, well, we need a digital, some of that stuff is digital only. So we can give the digital only solution, it's not 1/10 of the cost, but it is less than half of the cost of the main program. But that's all digital content. It's all stuff we've already created. So I think, in my eyes, that anyone that's less than £100,000 worth of profit, that's probably the right place to start. Then we've got our core offering. But we now have our coaching solutions, one-to-one coaching. So it is 10 times the price. It is 70 grand a year, not 7 grand a year. But because ultimately I actually don't really want to do one-to-one coaching. But if somebody really wants me to get under the bonnet of the business, then I don't mind doing it as long as I'm being paid well for it. So, so that just makes you think, if you ask yourself, what would I do for 1/10 of my current fee, and what would I do for 10 times my current fee? So coming back to Alex's value equation, what we've come up with is increase in profit and time as a result. That's the dream outcome. Perceived likelihood of achievement is, well, we've done it before. 12-month time frame, and perceived effort. Well, we give them a planned schedule, so that 90 minutes every other week, we're going to get them to book that out so that it's already scheduled in. So there we go. That's the 8 risk reversals, and I'm